So we have this case here. This 19-year-old. He could have been 18. But this 19-year-old who looks like a 70-year-old man, not even God knows what that person went through. And then he mysteriously shows up west of Salt Lake with, millions of dollars of equipment and a farm. Okay, but it turns out the grandparents raised him, not the mother. Now, I don't know what happened, and I don't want to belittle her, but the grandparents raised him. Not even God knows what happened during his childhood. And then mysteriously the grandfather, grandmother, well, no problem. We'll set you up with a farm. Here's $1 million. Here's $1 million. The mother didn't do it. The grandparents did. And when the conversations with him took place not between the mother, but it took place between the grandparents. So the grandparents were talking to him and the grandmother. Okay, it's not the mother. No, he was talking to the grandmother. And he tells her, well, I pick up a bloody guy and this, that, the other thing. And, there's a lot of shit going on there. So when he goes missing, then the mother gets into it. Remember, the mother, it was 20 years ago, whatever. She was in a different stage of life, and they let the grandparents raise him. And then we come up with this picture, 18 or 19, that looks like a 40-year-old man. And yet, not her, but the grandparents and the grandfather, who the grandfather remains silent. Nobody knows who they are. Nobody has talked to them, even though they were the last ones to talk to this guy. And yet they're sitting totally silent. They're sitting totally silent, even though the final phone calls were made between the grandmother and Dylan, who certainly knew of what took place during the years that when the mother went off with a new love, whatever. Okay? And yet, then the grandfather sign over, no problem, here's $1 million. Here's $1 million. Well, what do you think it was for? What do you think it was for? Look at the guy's face. Look at that guy's face. That's why he was talking to the grandmother and not the mother. But no, it's extremely clear to me.